Anyway, may God help me and reward me with all I truly deserve, or punish me for all I have done wrong, if that be the case. Now, at this zone is entering Shalaye. It is entering Shalaye, and Shalaye know they work. When it comes to relationships, especially, you could just explain. You could just explain. No evidence. People get to interpret what you are saying with their own outlook on life. Right?
We go explain because no evidence.
No evidence. But I don't want to judge this young man, because again, the theme all week has kind of seemed like about men need to take care of themselves. If that means walk away, please, by all means. I don't care if people call you Shalaye Master. I don't care if they call you a narc. If you have to walk away to preserve yourself, self-preservation first. Nothing else matter if you're no longer here. You, God forbid, you end up becoming a story like the brother story we just handled the other day, Azan. Yeah, it's better to preserve self so you can be available for everyone else. So, Shalaye, no, they work. It just doesn't work. Let's continue. So, and at that zone where he's saying that God should punish, it doesn't matter if you say God should punish you or you say God should punish somebody else. If you enter this zone where you have to shake me, it's not going to work. Okay? If you have to do all this type of thing, it speaks more. It's a personal problem at that point in time. Okay, there's a reason why your emotions have extremely engaged at that level.
ó ṣorí kìdìgbà bíi brazil aṣẹ́wó ó wá sórí láì mi ó sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ já dànù jẹ́ rapture wèrè dànù where you dey rapture dànù kúrò lórí láì mi òpó nóòṣì man of prestige.
All right, I won't play that anymore, I promise. Okay, if you have to do curses and all this kind of stuff, it's personal at some point, and I want you to take that home to wherever you go, in anything you do in life. You just, some people need to be cursed out. That's a real life thing. Okay, I'm not saying that that's not necessary sometimes, but when a person is narrating and is supposed to make a simple statement, somebody talked about statements. What example were we talking about earlier? When you have to make a statement, that a marriage is ending, if it's including all this extra emotional stuff, it's emotional blackmail. That's what it is. There you have it. Okay? It's emotional blackmail. May God help me and reward me with all I truly deserve, or punish them. He's talking about him. Punish me, let me just say, for all I have done wrong, if that be the case. But then, just 9 months ago, you admitted on the internet that you were cheating you were a serial cheater. See, don't make how about don't make your own statements, okay? Give it to a PR specialist to make these statements, okay? See how I'm stuck there. Imagine the mind of a person that can relate with the pain or plight of that woman. They're not going to, you've given them the license to call you names. A narc, manipulation, emotional manipulation, emotional blackmail. There's no need to bring that into the conversation. But some people, they have good intentions. It's just incompetence. It's just they don't know any better. Okay? In fact, majority of us, we've done that before. We've done the Shalaye thing where we start to emotionally blackmail somebody. It doesn't work. I've seen enough of it to know that it doesn't work. Okay? If you need to curse at yourself or other people just to make a statement that your marriage has ended, Baba, you're still trying to manipulate, and there's a good chance you did that inside of the marriage. If you can't, in your professional world audience, if you can't make a straightforward 5 lines, 1 paragraph statement just to let the public know that a marriage has ended, if you were to guess what you did inside of the marriage, you're probably like the rest of us. It's probably no wonder why you don't collect shiggy from that woman, right? So he said, sad, in the end, we will all live with the consequences of our actions. Okay? I guess we can look at that and say, okay, all right. Maybe it's not emotional blackmail. But it goes, sad but real and true. Now I have to do and be better for the sake of the same children I fought so hard never to be separated from. There's a lot of I in this statement. It's not a professionally written statement, and that's bad. Okay, that's bad. Yeah, but he's just speaking his mind. I know people that speak their mind, they end up in the same place. People that just tend to speak their mind all the time. They go, I don't care. I don't care. I just want to speak my mind. I just want to speak my truth, right?
Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Still don't care. I don't care. I don't. I don't care.
So to all my day ones, do you wanna guess where they end up? People that don't care, they just want to speak their truth. Can anybody guess? Just tell me in the chat, where do they always end up? These people that always want to speak their truth, where do they end up? I don't care. I just want to speak my truth. I don't care. I don't care. As long as I'm speaking my truth, as long as I'm okay with my God, where do they end up? Anybody guess in the chat? To all my day ones, if you know what I'm talking about, let me see. Keeper said they end up in the quarter. They do end up in Poto. What else? Anybody know? Oh, Poto. You are not day one if you're saying Poto. You're not the real day ones if you're saying Poto. You're not the real day ones if you're saying Poto. I promise you. You're not the real day one. Okay. Anybody want to try? D my G, that's what I'm talking about. She knows what I'm talking about. They end up at
You will end up in McDonald's.
Yes, they end up at McDonald's. Thank you, D. That's what I was looking for. Yes. Listen, there's nothing wrong with honesty. What I'm telling you is that it's the bare minimum. I know that's unfair, right? I know that's so unfair, but guess what? The person on the other side of your woto is also feeling like that's unfair. So who's going to do the winner of all fairness now? Who's going to do it? Do you get it?
You get it?
Okay.
If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right.
If you don't get it, yeah. Everybody have. They know, they have the right to be right. They do. Okay? And I can't take that away from them. However, if they're obsessed, hold on one second. If they're obsessed, they're going to build a massive blind spot. They won't see what's coming for them. Okay? They might be putting all the effort in, and they honestly mean to put all this effort in, and they're honestly intentionally trying, and it might be backfiring because, yeah. Let me continue. Now I have to do and be better for the sake of the same children I fought so hard never to be separated from. Okay, there's no mention, and I don't think it's capable of doing that right now. Okay, there's no mention of the awareness that the other woman, not the other woman, the woman, the other person is actually doing work too. There's no acknowledgement of that, and that tells me a lot. You have to read between the lines. That tells me a lot. Okay, that tells me a lot. Okay, now Enudun wrote 4, right? Enudun wrote 4, but I definitely think he wrote this from his heart. But I don't think he meant to come off that way. But we tell on, the more we talk, the more we tell on ourselves. The more we shalaye, the more we tell on ourselves. Yeah. You just tell on yourself. People will make a judgment regardless, even though there's no evidence.
We go explain because no evidence.
People will make a conclusion off of they will project, okay? And oftentimes, if you see that 9 out of 10 people are making the same projection, it's probably true. It is probably true. Thank you, D, for the £5 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You dey use your function to play.
All right, so let's get back to it. Let me see. It's more he's saying. This statement is too long. It's too much shalaye. It's too much shalaye in it, unfortunately. We don't care. Did I say don't care earlier? No, we don't care. That's number one. The only thing that really matters when it comes to being a public figure is to make 1 or 2, 3 statements, okay, and keep it moving. Okay, keep it moving. The work has to be done on you. It doesn't mean you are the one who is guilty or at fault. What people translate that to that, it means, does that mean he's the one at fault? No, it has nothing to do with that. But clearly, you've created a result that you don't want. So maybe what you would do in any other profession, you seek help. You ask for clarification. What happened there? You know what the Indomie generation are doing? They say, no, everyone is going through this. Everyone, pata pata, is going through this. And that's not true. That's not true. Okay, there are 2 things. First of all, you've gone through this. That's number 1. That's acknowledged. Number 2, there's a good chance you will continue to attract more stories that will align with your rhetoric. Have you ever bought a new car? Or somebody made you test drive a new car, and you're like, wow, this car is good, and the next thing you start seeing that car everywhere on the streets like it's never existed before. That's how the human brain works. I want you to internalize what I just said. That's how the human brain works. When you've gone through something, especially if it's touched your nerves in a very, very, very bad way, you will have a tendency to attract more stories like it, because that's basically what will attract your fancy. That's what will fans you, right? That's how the human brain works. So what can you do about that? So should I change that? No, you can't change it. You can be aware of it. And when you're aware of that, it's half the battle won. Let me read the rest of this thing here. There's a lot that he gave away that a lot of people did not pay attention to. Now I have to do, let's go back there. The journey thus far only makes me stronger as I come to terms with what I truly need and deserve for all my relentless hard work and effortless in life. This statement is a good statement for the journal. He's supposed to journal this to himself, like reading to himself. Okay, this is good stuff that you can write in a book to boost his own self-confidence. Not confidence in the eyes of the beholder or in the eyes of the public, but self-confidence, because the confidence that's needed the most is the one that you have inside, not the one that you try to showcase to everybody, to try to tell everybody that you have confidence. Not that one. That one will fall on its face all the time. Okay, that one will get tested. Somebody will trigger you and then you start cursing people out on the internet before you know it. Okay, but when you have self-confidence, you're like a rock. Right now, easier said than done. It's very difficult, especially when you've gone through some experiences. Okay, everything will trigger you. Okay, everything. There's pressure everywhere. Pressure.
Everything I do, I will.
All right, so he goes, heartbroken but not shattered. Breakfast is a bad thing, though. I can't front, man. But not shattered, yet I stand tall as I break this sad but true news to the same world who adores my beautiful family and I. What an oxymoron there, right? My wife and I have decided to go our separate ways and headed for an irreconcilable marriage dissolution. Please respect our privacy and pray for us during this process as we heal and move on with our independent lives while jointly taking care of what we love most, our children. God bless all. See that last paragraph right there, right? Why would you and I feel a need to say more than that last paragraph? Tell me, why would you and I, right, if we're holding ourselves accountable here, right, if we've gone through the woto, the shege that this man has gone through, obviously, right, and the wife and the children, right, why would you and I feel the need to say more than this last part of this paragraph? Let me read it to you again. My wife and I have decided to go our separate ways and headed for an irreconcilable marriage dissolution. Please respect our privacy and pray for us during this process as we heal and move on with our independent lives while jointly taking care of what we love most, our children. God bless all. Why would you and I feel the need to say anything more than this? I'll give you a cheat sheet really quickly.
You go explain, because no evidence.
Is the urge to shalaye. Nothing more. Nothing more. Okay? Is the obsession with being right.
Oh, you're right.
If you are so confident that you're right, there's no need for shalaye. But it's easier said than done. I'm being honest with you. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. So oftentimes, even if you have a PR write that statement for you, you're like, no, but I need to say something. No, but I owe it to my fans. I got to speak a little bit. I got to say, yeah. But what you'll find is that nothing is ever enough for the public. The public is not your mate. Nothing is enough for the mate. What's going on, Shay? Good to see you, Shay. Shay says, I do not think we have all the full details. I feel there's a lot of missing details. I agree with that 100%. Him wanting control is subjective here. No. The statement is controlling. Let me explain it to you. The statement is, did I say controlling? I say emotional blackmail. Let me go back to that. Let me break that down for you. Okay. Sometimes when we're stuck on what the intentions are, it's hard to understand these things. Okay. And this is where we fail. Okay. I've been there, right? I know my intentions. I didn't mean to hurt you. So you telling me I'm manipulative is triggering me. It's triggering. It's annoying. What it does is actually make me overreact and then perpetuate the problem. That's what it does, right? But we're not talking about your intentions. I say it all the time here, that intentions, good intentions particularly, it does end up in the poto all the time. All the time. You have good intentions, but the person on the other end received it as something else. Remember, there are always at least two people involved in relationships, right? So, and that's what makes it particularly complex, right? Not just complicated, but even complex, right? So it's almost like I'm asking you to read minds, right? Well, no, not really. I'm just letting you know the reality. People will receive what you're saying to them based off of their own interpretation, not your intentions. So if you really want your communication or your information you're transferring to land, you now have to take responsibility for that. Okay. So when he goes, may God help me and reward me with all I truly deserve and punish me for all I have done wrong. If that be the case, it's like, why do you feel the need to say that? Right? Remember, shalaye, explain, no evidence. You go die, curse, you just want curse. Who are you cursing? Cursing, no, they affect nobody. You need to more. Most of imagine all the curses that people rain on people. Imagine if that's affecting people as they come. Do you not think that we will be in a war zone? If I can just sit in the corner of my house and supporting your combat, and their head should start to despoil anyhow.
Jadanu then rapture with it and where you did rapture danu kúrò lórí live mi òpó no shi.
Right? Imagine if that's how it works. Right? But these things are powerful. Manipulation, emotional blackmail are powerful enough to control a whole nation. You will see that the church is selling the same ideologies. You see that all kind of spiritual houses are selling the same thing. All they have to tell you is that they will read your palm. Your life will be good if you let me read your palm. Just go and kill one goat and one thing like that. And because we emotionally engage in that, it can literally control the rest of your life like that, right? Just a little bit of awareness. So, and I think when he start to make statements like, so that God will come and curse and come and all that is nonsense now. Not especially if you just made statements yourself 9 months ago saying that you were a cheater. You said it with your own mouth. So if that ekpe is going to start Koma Johnson, if that ekpe will start fighting, how do you say that in English? Proper English, Jerry. If that curses will start working right now, right? In that moment when he was emotionally making that statement, is he capable of thinking all the way through and say, you know what, I might have offended this woman. He used his own mouth to say, I forgot that this is another human being who is storing. I'm paraphrasing now a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. I think it'll be important to play that video. Okay? I think it's important that I play that video. He used his own mouth So now today you wake up today and you're now saying that if you have not been a perfect person. The only thing it tells me is that you're being emotional, and that's perfectly acceptable, or not acceptable is a word, but perfectly understandable, because obviously you just lost your whole family. Anybody will be emotional about that. Okay? The reason why I'm bringing it up is not to judge him, is to let you know that we're all in the same boat. Okay? So that you can now self-regulate, self-check yourself, and things like that. Okay? This was Nino. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Can you guys see this? No, not yet. All right, there you go. That's Nino carrying his ex-baby girl now. Just a few months ago, they were doing a lot of PDAs. I personally don't like shaming them for the PDAs. The truth is that every one of us will put the highlight. Every one of us, married or not married, you put the highlights on the internet. That's the way it works. Okay. Now, when you start crossing the line to this level of scripted video, because clearly somebody else is holding the camera. Okay, you can see that someone else is holding this camera. So this was deliberate. You want to paint a certain type of picture, right? It's understandable because it's a rock star, right? What we can deduce from this is that it's not an indication of their personal life. But the same is true for all of us. Even when we take selfie, filter. My wife will sometimes put we want to take picture of us, and then I'm like, but I don't look like that. What? Can you turn off the filter? Right? But this is just the reality of life. So it's not just people in marriage that's trying to paint a picture of perfect. It's just the culture, right? So I don't like shaming them for that personally. There's nothing new about what they were doing. All right. Let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can catch that okay, this is the Instablog Niger news one. There's another one that I'm looking for in particular. Let's see. Okay, not that one. Okay, moments after he announced the end. This one right here. Very important, right? Moments after he announced the end of his marriage, Nigerians dig up an old video of actor revealing that he cheated on others. So let's just play that, okay?
A lot of people call God for what God had nothing to do with.
TD Jake says God provides trees, doesn't make furniture.
Exactly. So
wait, isn't it funny that the first thing he said is that God has nothing to do with this? It's like me reading that statement and say, well, the curse is like, it's not relevant. How you bring that in? Why would people feel the need to bring in, hold on, shit, come back for me. If I did this, it's emotions, it's emotional blackmail. Can you stay calm, cool, collected? Extremely hard to do. And address the issue? Probably not. Right? Probably not. Especially if you're in the situation. Emotions no be your mate. If you're in the situation, you will be emotional. It's understandable, but we need to be aware of it. Not so you can be perfect when this does happen to you, but so you can be like, you know what? I need to take time off. So you don't make impulsive decision. So you don't run to the internet and make a longer piece too, when actually you could just make a simple statement. A good example of a simple statement will be basketball statement was a very good statement. It was much more better than this. So emotional blackmail does not mean the absence of good intentions, and I think that's where we miss it sometimes.
So I needed to take time back to see what I had done to her. The years when I was feeling like I was still young and cheating all day, breaking her heart and everything.
He didn't need to say any of this. He did not need to say any of this. It's not necessary, right? I get it. It comes off as, self-accountability. But self-accountability is something you do within controlled environment, right? You can do it with therapy. You can do it to, But he didn't need to say any of this, because what happened now? Now, it's Oyoni Bugwawa, because we're digging it up right now. We're talking about it, right? At the end of the day, he has his own life to live, and he has a public life, right? But the point is that the way he ran to the internet to make that longer piece too is probably what he was doing here. One looks good, the other one doesn't look good when everything is good. But when you're in crisis is when you find out that that was the wrong move, right? Because you're giving ammunitions away Not to destroy you just because you're a bad person, but to basically drag you with the water. Either you're bad or good. People will drag you with what they have. Okay? So, but he's making that statement. Why is it? Because I'm looking at the muscles in his face, right? He means what he's saying. But just because you have good intentions doesn't mean you will create good results. That's the lesson that I'm trying to extract out of this. That was the lesson that Brother Ade, shout out to Uncle Ade, that he said, you know what? It was trying to say too much affection. What is too much affection? When your affection is being interpreted as weakness, when it's being, even though you have good intention, when it's being interpreted as you are manipulating me. If the other person is interpreting you as manipulation, that's all that matters. Your intention at that point in time does not matter. And that's the wisdom that you need to pay attention to. Good intentions, yes. No. He was just trying to finesse all of us. This is all a show. Whatever you think. But let's talk about us. Regular us. Sometimes we fall into this category. We mean well, but the other person is not receiving it that way. They have their own feelings, their own emotion about the situation. And if you care about them, then it makes sense to pay attention to that. It just makes sense. So yes, it's absolutely manipulation. It's emotional blackmail. That particular part of the statement. All right, thank you, Shay, for that. You made me digress a little bit there. The more we explain tired, the more we review. Voila. Trust me, this is a controlled environment. Me, I'm the only one in the studio. Okay, and I'm not talking about myself, so I'm kind of safe. If I start talking about myself, I will fall in the same category. It's all of us. All of us. There's nobody is exonerated from this. Okay. Let's see. Before jumping into marriage, the woman is earning more than him, and the woman is earning more before. Let me see. He may have felt insecure since he has been the provider, and the woman is earning. No, I don't think it's that. I think their issue is typical marriage issues. It's emotional levels. All those things that you just mentioned, somebody is doing it successfully somewhere because they understand the emotional intricacies and they balance it well. Like for every japa story that their husband dumped them, or for every what the other situation that we make, or every nurse, or every whatever what do you call it, generalizations that we make out there, there's somebody doing it successfully, right? There's somebody right now, they're in a long distance for a long time, there's some kind of understanding there. And because they figured out the emotional intricacies, and there's somebody, they are together in the same household. It's only COVID that happened, and that's all it took to take their marriage out. Because everything was revealed at that point. Yeah. Let me see who else is here. Oftentimes written words are sometimes. That's exactly Sheyi. That's why I said if you're emotionally charged, stay away from text messages, because you will give the other person the permission to interpret how they deem fit. Okay, wait, practice your patience. Wait until you see them face to face. Oh, see, the fear there is that maybe heaven will fall out of the skies. No, heaven will not fall out of the skies before you see them. Practice your patience. And if heaven fell out of the skies because you couldn't say what you have to say to this person right now, then maybe that heaven should fall out of the skies. Case in point, like for example, this marriage, if you're afraid that this marriage will end, if I don't speak my mind, maybe that marriage to be ending. That's toxic. That's just toxic if you don't feel safe in that situation like that. Let it end. That doesn't have to be a permanent decision. Okay? He's speaking from place from pain. Yeah. Yep. That's why you need to control environments. Yeah, no one is a saint. None of us are saints. What's going on, Cynthia? Good to see you, Cynthia. So it's our very own beloved MOP that is like Brasha Ashawo. Ha! I'm glad I wasn't there. I for don't collect. Oh, you're talking about the Daddy Free stuff? Yeah. What's Brasha Ashawo? What does that mean? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean by that though. Oh, Brasha Ashawo. Oh, this is okay. This is what I see what you're talking about. Voila. Let me play for those of you that came late, okay?
Man of prestige, say you dey whine. You seem to mistake me for your father who is hunting for a gamma lizard that you eat with Gary this night. What a pori baje. Allah ilopolo. ó ṣorí kìdìgbà bíi Brazil aṣẹ́wó ó wá sórí láì mi ó ń sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ já dànù jẹ́ rapture wèrè dànù where you dey rapture dànù kúrò lórí live mi òpò no ṣì. Man of prestige just say I jab you no vex I no know say na you na somebody else wey I answer.
All right, so he apologized. Let's leave him alone, okay? He said no vex now. Jebure. All right, so I really tell you to tell someone here to rest. Or he hasn't fully healed from the breakup. He's still in the process, so he's still hurt. Yes, it's very difficult. That's why, yeah, breakfast is nobody's mate too. Yep. Let's see. What are you talking? Okay, Auntie B was asking D. But there are two parties involved in the PDA. Probably things were getting better. Yes, I don't believe she was forced into that situation either. Yeah, I know. Who was it? Was it Braben that was reading it that it didn't seem like the body language was there? Well, I wasn't personally when I watched that video. I wasn't paying attention to that. Okay, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying attention to what everyone else was paying attention to. The rock star in the video. Okay. Now, in hindsight, it's easy to go back and nitpick, just like I just did with the words. Nitpick and say, this is what this means, this is what this means. Well, there's nothing that this is what this means. What I can tell you is that this can be interpreted as this. Okay. If you're making a public relations statement and you go into how God is going to punish somebody or yourself, that's emotional blackmail. I just want you to take that to the bank, please. Okay, I know you don't think that, but the other person can think that. So that makes it emotional blackmail. Okay, it's a possibility. Okay, if you have a person who is almost like God and they're not a human being, they might not receive it that way. You're right. There's somebody who is emotionally matured, an adult, that will receive that and say, yeah, so he's just speaking his mind, even though I'm the wife. Me too, I was wrong in this situation. If you have a person who is perfect like that, kudos to them. Most human beings are not like that. Okay, most human beings will read that and say, me she enough for the babies, abi, ni firewood, abi. That's what most human beings, men or women, will do. They will interpret it with their own emotions, right? So yes, he's secluded from public life. Let me see. Oh wait, a prisoner offender don't go to parties. He's secluded from public life. Yeah. I am strictly here for a conversation with you. I would speak my views the way I understand and we can brainstorm. No wala, bro. I will drop the link in a little bit. Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's not true. That's definitely not true. Okay? That's like saying maybe it's a terrible analogy. Okay? In your mind, I will agree 100%. If you're on the receiving end of cheating, it's hard. Trust is just very, very hard to rebuild, okay? It takes everything. It will take you having to tuck your feelings away for a second. That's why the only way to get trust back is to work on yourself, right? That's the only thing that will increase the chances. It's still not guaranteed, but that's the only thing that will increase the chances. Working on yourself. What does that look like? Your own personal self-development. Focus on your life mission and purpose, right? And don't be watching the time and say, when is it going to work? Because it might never work. When it does work, you should still see it as, okay, I guess God wants us to do it all over again. But most people are not even willing to do that. Once they engage, you say, I want my wife back. I want my wife. They just want, like, if I follow this step, it will just work. No, not necessarily true. We don't know what's going on in that woman's mind. We don't know if it might not be your fault. It might be, what happened might have mixed up with so many other things like trauma, and they're done, it's over with, all that kind of stuff. You don't know. So it's a losing battle to set yourself up like that. Let me do this, let me announce, let me tell the word so that it can work out. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. It will be interpreted as manipulation. Guaranteed. You in the moment it might not feel that way, like, okay, thank you, baby, if they're trying to work on it too. The day the next disagreement and arguments comes up, she will bring everything back up, and God helps you, you know how to handle that. Most men don't know how to handle that. If she's talking about what you did to me 5 years ago, do you know how to handle that? No, what you will say is that, oh, well, we resolved that, why are you saying that? And then it gets worse and worse and worse, right? And if I tell you to, like, calm down, listen to what she's saying, you will say, well, why is she bringing that up again? That's not fair. You see, you're fighting a different game. I don't know how to teach that game. That game you're fighting is a need, an obsession to be right. And in my opinion, you don't need help. You're already right.
Well, you're right.
Yeah. So, Patricia, what's going on, Patricia? Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's not true. Infidelity recovery is a real thing, and it does work. But if you already made up your mind in this way, it won't work. I promise. Guaranteed, it won't work. And I see the question mark in front of it. My dearest auntie, that was okay. D is still doing shalaye back there. Auntie B, hello, Auntie B, how are you? Auntie B, you came out soon. I know Vex again though. See how he insults people on the live stream. Zero emotional maturity. Yes. Wow, DF needs mental evaluation. Just cursing someone father like that because of a comment. Yeah, I'm gonna be using that video. I will have to mute. I will have to drop a mute on the father part, and I'll drop a mute on the yeah, just the curses, just to mute that. But that was hella entertaining to watch, because one of the things that was my issue was that I didn't get to hear it live because I was blocked instantly. I wanted to hear it live, and then it already passed that. I had to go back and grab that clip. But it's all good. It's all good. Bini Sabi curse pressing passive out on people, but DF sometimes is stressed when on his life. He certainly needs more work. He'll be alright. It's part of the entertainment it gives people, I guess. You go there, alright. Why bring Bini into this? Wala. No. What is this? What is going on?
Wala, Nigeria don't report, so I have to go to Kalu. Wala.
Yeah. Let's just report this to Apostle.
How do we hear of this?
Let's continue the video.
To the years where, okay, I wasn't there and just pursuing my dreams. But I forgot that this was a human being that was taking records.
Yeah.
Turn up on the like button, please, I beg.
And taking experiences of her life as well.
I forgot this was a human being that was taking records. He was saying he's his own self. Obviously, he's in a better place. He's set to it. He's trying it, but you know, I don't know if I could say it any better. I don't want to nitpick what he's saying, but as you can see, it's coming up today. It's coming up, right? So let me leave that alone. These are the things he said by himself, but I want to go back to the comments here. Okay, and we just deal with the most popular comments on this platform. This person says, and please put your comments in the chat. I'll come back to your chats to read them. This person says, Nigerians should start embracing therapy to help them heal your family members, or in-laws are not, online in-laws are not the right people to help you solve your issues in your marriage or relationships, especially when it comes to infidelity and abuse. If they are happy being divorced, please let them stay divorced. And because staying together unhappy is never a good idea and becomes toxic at the end. There's nothing wrong with what she said, or he or she said. Don't believe all you see online. So all the love video na fugazi. This one right here speak more about this person more than this couple. Literally nothing in lives goes on forever. Everything that has a beginning has an end. Sometimes in the form of people become 99 and 96 and they pass away gradually. Sometimes some things will just run its course. But if this is how you interpret it, you go back to when they were in their highlights, right? And you interpret it that they were just trying to manipulate you, both of them together. They went on that set and they were manipulating you. No, that's not realistic. We all put up highlights on the internet. It is what it is. Deal with it. Somebody said about the Steve Harvey show, said they were trying to play perfection. Nobody cares about you like that. They were not trying to play no perfection. They don't care about you like that. They were in the moment and they were enjoying it. It just so happened that he's a rock star. So yes, if he posts it, the whole world will see it. When he takes it down now, because I understand he took down all the pictures of the wife and everything, which is again an impulsive decision. If something happened to my wife, let me just tell you right now, I'm not taking down no pictures or everybody I'm leaving them up exactly the way they are. Okay, maybe archive. But I'm not going through no pictures to delete the experience that I authentically had here so that people can feel like, oh, I wasn't deceiving them. The issues here is these individuals. He was trying. He was trying. Just because he was trying doesn't mean he was capable. Just because he was right, just because he was quote unquote holier than thou in the moments when he was trying does not mean he was capable of accomplishing what he was trying to do, which is get back in a space where it can be harmonious. I guarantee it, okay? They were ending up in disagreement, arguments, past issues were coming up, and it was spiraling out of control. Is it possible that he kept cheating? Yes. But what does that have to do with you and I? Maybe you and I will not be cheater. We are the holier than thou. We don't cheat, Abby. What does that have to do with you and I? What can you learn from this? Right? What can you learn from this? What you can learn from this is that when there's something in the past, right? Just because you said, okay, I've forgiven you with mouth doesn't mean that you know how to move forward. When at least two people are involved. When at least two people are involved, oftentimes you'll find yourself in a space where you feel like this is not fair. I'm trying my best. When is it ever going to be enough? I announced you to the world. I was on TVC. I was professing my love to you. When is it ever going to be enough? And then she's like, you didn't know that when you were cheating, no? You did not know that if you knew that, you wouldn't cheat in the first place. And then you're like, what? And then that's triggering you because you're like, I'm trying to become a new man. In fact, the ones that collect the most is the one trying to do the right thing. I don't know if you pay attention to what I'm saying. I don't know if you get it. Do you get it? Do you get it? If you don't get it, you get it? No?
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right.
The ones that are trying to walk the straight line are the ones that collect the most shege because he's stuck on the idea that I'm a good guy. He has unrealistic expectations attached to his good guyness. The one where they cheat serially, the one where the say, okay, maybe, you know, he will just grab his key, he will walk away. You've been accusing him for cheating, you've caught him many times, you stay there. That one does not collect as much. Why? Why not? Why not give him the same woto? These are the reality because it's not it's not the tangibles. Okay, we can count how many times it's cheated, so he must collect more. That's not how it works. It's emotional. It's the emotional thresholds. That's the only thing that plays a part here. So if he doesn't know how to shut up, if he feels the need to run into the internet and profess, right? As much as he might have good intentions around that, because I already said it, I do think he had good intentions. It might backfire. Does that mean don't show it? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are doing that, please do not attach expectations to it. Do not use that to manipulate a person to forgiveness. Especially if you haven't taken the time to listen to what their particular need is. Do you have enough patience to listen long enough to the point that you sleep? You're listening, you're like, okay, babe, so you mean this, you did, and then you like, and then you're not getting comfortable, and then you sleep. So see, you're not listening, you sleep. No, I'm here with you, babe. She's not counting that. She's just counting her own emotional threshold. Is she feeling safer? Is she feeling like she's right? And then that's easy, right? What about when you find yourself in disagreement, the crisis, the place of crisis? Can you handle that situation? Because you will be triggered, right? You'll be triggered to count how much I've been trying. Can you do that? Abby, what are you going to do? You're going to overreact all the time. And then you threaten each other, right? It's very difficult to come back from infidelity. It is very difficult. Why? Because betrayal, okay? Betrayal. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. Yes, people come back from that all the time. Somebody said, well, you know, men can accept cheating. That's what it looks like on the surface. They accept it all the time. Don't tell anyone. Okay? Men get cheated on all the time. But because of their ego, sometimes they can't come to the public and just say like that, okay? Because what man wants to come and say, yeah, I was cheated on? It just doesn't sound right, right? It doesn't feel right, okay? Yes, men get cheated on all the time. I know it sounds strange, but they don't record enough of it. But we've recorded enough to know that it happens. So men can't take what they dish off. A lot of times they don't have a choice. A lot of times they don't have a choice. Or they made a choice to stay for the ultimate, for the bigger picture, a bigger reason, right? But you don't expect a man to come to the internet, come and tell you that's what I did, right? But if you're counseling and you're coaching, you know you've seen this. And it's a very difficult thing to do, not just for a man, but for a woman. A lot of men are in delusion too, that a woman should just be able to accept it. No. Okay? There's no guarantee. Some actually told you they don't mind. They are the ones that are worst. They might not be able to take it, or they will stay and will show you shaggy. Okay?
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
Alright.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and drop the link right about now. So that we don't take too long, because this is a holiday weekend here, and my Yankee people, I want now to go enjoy. Okay, all right. So let me go through some of this comment. Why is it so difficult for two people to live and remain together? Somebody asked. It is well, and they look so perfect together. Here's the reality about that. That's a good question. Any collaborative effort between two human beings will create friction. It's just what it is. Okay, and requires expertise level knowledge. Now understand, this is marriage. You don't have all the rest of your life to be learning about marriage. I actually don't encourage that. Even in the corporate world, you don't encourage that you should know everything before you get into a situation. Okay, they don't encourage that, but they encourage, as problem shows up, you solve them. They encourage, as problem shows up, you solve them. As milestone shows up, you solve them. They also encourage being aware that every new level you get to, there will be new sets of problems. Every new solution creates new sets of problems. The issue in all of this is unrealistic expectations. The expectations that, hey, since she's forgiven me in the past, we should be able to get over it. The issue is that two human beings that can understand, they should just be able to do it just by talking to each other. Well, if you're talking, and the other person feels like they don't get to talk, and you feel like, no, they've spoken before, feelings, you're missing feelings altogether. Is it that simple? No, it is not that simple. Okay, so the issue is that people are not taking enough time to learn about relationship, personal, interpersonal, romantic relationships. They're not taking enough time. They assume that the day we got married, it should be perfect. They don't say it in words, but their action speaks louder than words. Okay, it's the way they move, it's the way they react when there's a little bit of disagreement. If there's a little disagreement, can you lean in and say, let me see if I understand what this person is trying to tell me? Abi, you're just stuck and obsessed with your own right to be right. Because I understand why you see that you're right. You can see it on paper. It makes sense. I'm right. But the other person have a different outlook on what's going on. Can you handle that? So it's difficult, right? But it's easier said than done. But it's if you can figure that out, it's highly rewarding, right? Someone said, what is even separating you married people that can be mended? Jump question. This person said, you're so right, and we pray when it's our time. God should. Yeah, this is part of the problem. I love God. Absolutely. I love God. God should give us the strength. If you mean, as I'm going into this PhD program, well, God should give me the strength to go to, that's what you mean, I'm with you. If you mean God should come down and do the work for you, I'm not with you. These are part of the problems, okay? When people literally say this, they say hands off, we don't understand it, you can't tell people what to do, oh, well, everyone is a little bit different, hands off, and then they wonder why they create the same result. Maybe slightly different way, right? Oh boy, it's a struggle, but I think somebody in the studio. All right, I have Shei here. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on in the chat. What is going on, right? Let's see here. What's going on, Chidima? I see you. Ekene APC bishop, the troll, the real ones, the bishop, the Ekene, all of the above, right? Whichever one you are, I'm gonna play this for you right now, okay?
ó ṣorí kìdìgbà bíi Brazil aṣẹ́wó ó wá sórí láì mi ó sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ jádánù jẹ́ rapture wèrè dànù where you dey rapture dànù.
Your daddy.
You know, so I think personally that I think they need to let go first, give it some room, let it breathe. Please don't come back and say this is not what I mean. I didn't mean to curse myself. Just don't do that. I don't need that personally. Don't do shalaye for me either. Let it all go. Wherever anybody wants to interpret from what is going on, let them do that. Controlling narrative never works. Not with millions upon millions of monitoring spirits. It never works. You need to go back inside on yourself, work on yourself. It sounds like a broken record, but let me tell you what I mean, okay? Attraction is always playing a role in all of this, okay? Especially nowadays, more so now than ever before. People either want to be with you or they don't want to be with you. If they want to be with you, they will justify the duty and the responsibility. They will call it, I'm just duty and responsibility. Lori. Okay. Lori. They will justify it. Okay? They'll say, oh, it's just, they will justify with logic. But it's feelings at the end of the day. They want to be with you. And that is a function of time, patience, and process, especially if there's been damages in the past. Okay? So I don't know if there's any greater damage or damages than infidelity followed by lots and lots of resentment. I'm not sure if there's any greater damages than that, because you can't even touch it. If somebody is, at least they took your glasses, they broke it, they put the toothpaste in the wrong place, you can say, okay, I can, tangible stuff, that's easy. But emotions, it's never about right and wrong, right? A person that's clearly wrong, they will tell you it's your fault, you made me do it. What do you do at that point in time outside of letting go, right? You want to engage that toxic argument? Well, they're going to feel what they felt when you cheated on them, that you admittedly cheated on them, or the worst that you can think of. They're going to bring that back to the surface. They're going to change topics about 50 times in the middle of one single conversation. You're going to feel more frustrated. There's going to be communication breakdown everywhere you can think about. Now, when you had a layer of long distance relationship, because what I understand is that they live in Chicago, is always traveling around the world for obvious reason. When you consider that if you just disengage from work right now, everybody will just go broke. This is not easy. I want us to write that down. This is not easy. So your best point of leverage, see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you that the only thing that works is redirect all that energy back on yourself. Right? Work on yourself. Disengage from anything that looks like blame, guilt, shaming, shalaye, blame, mansplaining, explaining, right? Or disengage from those things. You're competing against. You can't win, right? Redirect all that energy back to yourself. Put it on yourself. Take care of yourself. No, I promise you, your children are going to be fine. They're going to be well. Her, she's going to be fine. When you say things like, God punish you if you do it, when you're engaged, okay? You need to engage a certain level of indifference, like, oh well, this is where we are today. Literally appreciate where you are today. Literally understand that today is a blessing. Like, literally, she said it's not like a switch. No, make it a switch. Give it a name yourself. Call it a switch. Switch it. Extremely easier said than done. But you don't really have a choice. You can go there and create more destruction with regards to your family and tell them the whole world and throw them under the bus. It's all their fault, right? Or you can say, wait, the shop is here. Let me take care of self. Self-preservation. Right? Refocus all that energy back on yourself. It's difficult because you're obsessed with what it looks like. What does this person say? What is it like? Well, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. If they call you to it, your children call you like, okay, how you doing? Everybody's fine. Or what about the divorce? Don't bring it up. Let it, like, if you want to file paperwork, somebody wants to file paperwork, let them go and file the paperwork. Just because you wrote the paperwork down at the courthouse does not mean it's over, by the way. Go need two more. It's just papers. Okay? It has the two more that you attach to it. Okay? If you attach it too much to it, it has it too more. Oh, sorry, meanings. It has no meanings outside of the meanings you attach to it. Okay? So you need to really reassess things. There's going to be all kind of fear. Like, what if you find like, oh, let it go. She wants to go and file, let her go and file, you know. Sure, let me know whatever you need me for. Please monitor things from a legal standpoint. You go collect if you don't monitor things from both personal standpoint but also legal standpoint. Don't say that I just want to sign everything the way. Don't do that. Okay? There are loopholes. There are things you don't know. Those texts can be used against you and against your children. People that are extremely upset can self-destruct because they just want to hurt you. That's how far emotional damage can go. That's how far I can go, right? Thank you so much, Latu. I appreciate you. Let's dance a little bit and we'll call it today. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Shout out to all 50 people watching me live. Thank you. Yep. Thank you, D. Thank you, Latu. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And shout out to everyone in the chat. Cynthia, I want to see you more. Thank you for coming through. Shay, need to see you more. T Love, Ekene Bishop, we can see you more too, as long as you behave. What did he say here? If a pregnant woman asks for food, give her better banana for bedroom. See, already. Anyway.
You are going to lose it. Let the poor breathe.
Yeah. So thank you everybody. Hopefully you've been enlightened. Just look at what I have on the screen. Friendship, more and more sex. If you can find your way to sex, please have more and more sex with your partner. It solves a lot of problems. If you can find your way to it, don't use it to manipulate. If you can find your way to it, okay? If it's not working, focus on the other things. Friendship, manage your expectations, and check your pride. Check your ego. They don't work in the middle of long-term relationship, all right? So hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.